What's going on, Buff Nation? Welcome back to another video here on the Voice of College Football Network. My name is Miles. I cover the Buffs here at VOCFB. You can follow me on X at Miles High Buffs. Joined again back with my co-host Tommy. How you been?
I'm doing great. How we doing?
We got with the way we're recording this today. Today's Thursday. It'll probably come out tomorrow. We got 7 days, 1 week until we get to see our beautiful Colorado Buffaloes back on the football field again. So I am doing delightful.
That's good, brother. I'm right with you, man. I tweeted today. I said Demon Days because Cam Perry and Randon, they just remind me of like demons when they step on that field, bro. So I'm
excited. You can say Shark Days too. You know, Cam, someone Craig say Shark Days.
Yeah. Shout out to the Sharks. Yeah.
But we got a fun little topic today. We're going to talk about the 3 keys that we feel to Colorado's success this season. There are, an infinite number of things that you could point to in terms of what Colorado needs to do to be able to bounce back from 3-9 last year. But I think we've settled on 3 topics that we think are going to be the most important. If they can achieve or overachieve in these areas, then they'll be in a good footing, good standing for every game that they go into. Do you agree?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I think you gotta have something to like build on and stand on like throughout the season, like what if you control these things, then the season will definitely play out how it's supposed to play out, right? So just holding yourself accountable to those things and just making sure it happens.
Exactly. So let's start with the first thing. The first thing, it is something that Colorado struggled with a lot last season. It's honestly been a bit of a challenge for every year outside of 2024. It's pretty straightforward. It's stopping the run. Finding a way to I think what's hard for Colorado to overcome this year is there is a mentality around the fact that it's easy to run the football on Colorado. And so they have to come out this season and reshift that mindset. Week 1 in Georgia Tech, we're already hearing a lot of signs about them saying we're going to control the clock, we're going to run the ball. And so that is going to be if right off the bat, if Colorado cannot stop the run, every other game throughout this season, that's the first thing teams are going to look at. Do you agree?
Yep, absolutely. This is a massive test, to come out September 3rd. We already know they're going to run the football. That's been their identity. That's Brent Key's identity. It's been his identity ever since he got to Georgia Tech, or even before at his previous stops. But running the football is going to be huge. They have to get that done. They're a heavy run threat, and like those defensive tackles, they have to play physical. And those linebackers, they got to be able to plug gaps. So if we can do that, we have nothing to worry about. Everybody, alignment, assignment, and know your keys and know your reads. As long as you do your job, which is what we preached last year. If you do your job, everything else will take care of itself. So we have to be able to do that week 1, 7 days at Bobby Dodd Stadium. It got to happen.
And you made a point there that I think is really important. It's just gap sound football. That's one of the biggest elements of this is last year there was some challenges with, you remember the infamous clip that came out in spring or fall camp with they had a running play and then, everybody, they had to take it down because people noted that the linebackers were hitting the wrong gaps. Can't have that again. Can't have situations where they're just in the wrong spots. To make the wrong reads. And it's going to be important, especially with not even just against a rushing heavy offense like Georgia Tech, but against, the QB run. We've struggled with that in the past. Scrambling quarterbacks, option plays, all of it we've struggled with. So stop the run. Absolutely. We need to be physical, violent up front. And I think obviously health plays a really big part in that, but just it's everybody. It is the tackles you mentioned. It's the edges. It's the linebackers. It's the safeties. It's going to be. It is a team-oriented goal to make sure that we are not allowing teams to run the football like crazy on Colorado.
Yep, absolutely. And to piggyback off of that, like you said, playing violence and giving maximum effort every play will make up for certain mistakes that may happen, right? Nobody's perfect. Mistakes going to happen on both sides of the football, right? Or throughout the football game in general. So playing with maximum effort can assist those mistakes that may be had, like me looking inside and the ball bouncing outside. But if I run my tail off to track down that ball, everything will be just fine, right? We'll hold them a 5 instead of a 15-yard game, right? So playing violent, knocking a guy back, controlling that line of scrimmage, we're going to have to do that. That's the number one thing in order to stop this run. We got to control that line of scrimmage. And I think we can do it, brother.
And
I know we can do it.
Oh, I know we can do it. And the last thing I'll say on it before we move to the next one is it's not just a players thing too. It's a Dante Carter thing. It's a George Hilo thing. It's a Chris Marv thing. It is a Coach Prime thing. It is you have to coach these guys to have the mentality on 3rd and 6 or 3rd and 4 to make sure that there's not a backbreaker of a play that just deflates the defense. You know what I mean? So it's going to be very important. To be very interesting to see. And as we've talked about, we're going to see it very early on, week 1. 1 week from today, we are going to know how well they're going to be able to stop the run against a formidable running back duo that Georgia Tech has.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Let's move on to the second one. We're going to stick in the trenches, kind of. We're going to move on to the next one. I think is most important is just protect Julian Lewis. I don't know if you saw today, Tommy. Julian Lewis was named Colorado's QB1, somewhat unsurprisingly. Yeah. My guy. It would be really awkward if I had that up on my wall and he doesn't even get QB1. Point being,
right?
This sits on the offensive line. This sits on Gunnar White. This sits on, it has been a challenge for Colorado in previous years to protect Shedeur, to protect Caden Salter. They made steps in the right direction last year in terms of time to throw, but there was one of the highest sacks allowed in all of the Big 12. And with a young quarterback, protecting him early and protecting him throughout the season is going to be incredibly important. Just talk to us a little bit about, from your perspective, what that means for Colorado's offense this season to be able to protect it.
It's vital. It's vital. Like you have to be able to just for this offensive line in general. You have to be able to gel quickly, and we got to create run. We got to literally create run lanes for these running backs in order to take the pressure off of Jew, right? So that run game is huge, and it has to happen. Just like Georgia Tech is going to run the football against us, we're going to have to literally strike back and do the same exact thing. And so that comes with controlling the line of scrimmage on both sides of the football. So we have to establish a run game early, let these backs see some holes that they could hit through, get 5 or 6, right, out the pop, and that'll open up the complete game plan of what Brandon and Marion want to do in order to get Juju in rhythm and let them play freely and openly and let them just sling it around the whole field all day. We got to create run gaps.
I was going to say, I probably could have put that as you had noted it before the show as win the trenches battle, which is probably a better way of phrasing it as opposed to just protect Juju, because it's really important. We're going to have to make sure that not only this is not going to be a passing dominant offense and creating running lanes, as Coach Marion and the entire offensive line coaching staff has indicated, they need these guys to be violent. They need them to be physical. They need them to destroy the man in front of them. The quote that Coach Marion had today about just, you have to want to dominate the man in front of you. And on top of that, I do think there's an element of you have to find some level of a consistent 5 that are able to do that, right? Like we feel like we put out on X today, our offensive starters. You could probably have some debate around maybe who plays the guard spots, but either way, finding some level of a consistent 5 that can do both, create run gaps, create run lanes, and then also protect Julian Lewis is going to be so vital. And I think a lot of that falls on Bo Hughley, just as his blindside protector, just making sure that that's a huge area of emphasis, having lost Jordan Seaton this past season, to make sure that, he has that peace of mind, because we did to an extent have peace of mind on that side of the line for a couple of years now. And so making sure that he provides that just that half of a second extra, just to make sure that Juju knows he can get that ball off. And then being violent up front too. Anything else you want to add on that?
No, and I'm gonna go with that center spot. It's absolutely imperative that that center is comfortable, whoever that may be. They're comfortable, they're confident, and
Communicative.
they are communicative. Like they have to be mentally locked in from the start to the end.
Yep.
They have to be, because they're going to control that. They're the first person that controls that line of scrimmage. And then that gets back to Jew, and then Jew got, Jew do his thing. But whoever that's in that center spot, making the right calls, making sure they're on point mentally, like I said, at all times, and antennas up and rolling, that's key and vital for Juju to be relaxed and be able to be comfortable back there in that pocket.
Yeah, and it's similar to what we just talked about with stopping the run, right? Is that we need to set the precedent that Colorado is going to run the football and be able to protect Julian Lewis. If it comes out after Georgia Tech or after first couple of games of the season, the non-conference slate, that Colorado can't protect their young quarterback, what is that going to say once we get into Big 12 play? That's going to be the first thing defensive coordinators are going after. Is let's get after that Julian Lewis and let's put pressure on him. And so from a schematic perspective, it's important. From a mentality perspective, it's important, and from a scouting perspective, it's going to be really important as well.
Absolutely.
All right, let's get to the last one. I think this one, it's a little bit vague, but I think it's also it's you'll understand what we mean when we get there. We put it down as master the go-go. Obviously, that's a really tall ask, whatever that phrase is. It's an important ask. It's a really big thing to ask of a young quarterback, of a new offense, of a new university that you're coming into. But we've seen what Brendan Marion can do with this offense in a lot of different settings, right? He's made a name for himself with developing this offense. This is probably the first time you're seeing it at the true P4 level. And so mastering that, it's going to be a challenge early on. We've talked about it. It's not an easy offense for somebody to learn, but I want to hear your perspective on just what quote unquote mastering could look like by season's end.
What it could look like by season's end is averaging, in the Big 12, let me just be realistic. In the Big 12, averaging 27, 28 points a game and controlling the football, period, right? That's mastering it. And that's doing it by creating lanes. Like, you're going to have unique lineups. You're going to put defenses in uncomfortable situations, right? So in order for that to happen, we're going to have to capitalize off of that. So by establishing that run game, that's creating explosive play action, big plays down the field, right? But the number one thing that we're going to have to do, we're going to have to create a rhythm. We got to get in rhythm, and we got to limit the amount of 3-and-outs we get, because it's a fast-paced offense, right? And so limiting the amount of 3-and-outs so our defense is not coming back on the field in a matter of 2 minutes, right? So we're gonna have to get in rhythm, establish the run game at a high level, and then go from there, right? And that's just the basic, right? That's where we start. But the nitty-gritty is creating big plays, letting those playmakers create plays just by getting the ball in their hands and letting them do what they do, right? Because those guys are going to be moving around. We put out that depth chart, but those guys will be everywhere on the field. So, yeah.
And I think it goes back to another element of this that we've talked about, which is like, it's understanding the why behind what you're trying to accomplish. It's understanding early on, we're making play calls. As the season goes on, we're understanding the philosophy of what we're trying to accomplish, drive in and drive out, and where we're trying to attack each defense that we're going into. And so it is, I think that's where the mastery component of it is. It's going to be really, really important for them to I think we've mentioned getting Juju into rhythm early is going to be important, but also allowing him to understand and build that confidence repeatedly, week in and week out, so that by the end of the season, that it is a humming engine. It's just churning out big explosive plays, high statistical numbers, just all the outcomes that the Buffs will need to be in every football game.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was I was thinking about this last night when I was just watching games, previous games and stuff like that. And man, bro, if Jude just control the game, right? Take what the defense give him. Pretty much give me Julian saying in your own way. Just control the game. Don't do nothing extra. Get the ball to the playmakers and let them do what they do. And you're elite when it comes to releasing that rock and getting it where it needs to be as far as accuracy and precision. Just do that. That's all we need. And then, of course, show off your athleticism, right? He's gonna have to run. So we're gonna see that, right? And so just do what you do, man. Just be yourself. Like, you don't have to be nobody extra. Just control the game. If you want to say game manager, I don't give a damn what you call it, as long as he winning the game, right? Do what you do, be you, and we'll be perfectly fine. But we got to be able to scheme for him. We got to get him in rhythm. We got to do our part, right? And I mean, what I mean by our, everybody else besides you. Everybody else got to do their part. That's it.
Yeah. They're gonna cook you in the comments for saying he's got to be a Heisman candidate in his red shirt freshman season. I get what you mean. He's got to be Dylan Gabriel. He's got to like just be somebody who just gets the ball to the guys and make sure that they can make plays. I'm just messing with you, of course.
Yeah, they may cook me, but hey, yeah, hey, we on every watch list, so we got the expectations. We got the talent to do it, brother.
Exactly. And I honestly I think we don't have to go into too much detail, but if the go-go can be as close to perfected as possible, reasonably speaking, you could see Julian put up statistics that would put him into a lot of conversations. I'm not going to say what, but if he can if they can get this thing going and humming, and they can protect him and be running the football, then I don't see a world where he wouldn't be able to put up numbers that would make everybody across the college football landscape say like, what's happening in Colorado?
Tell me this. If Jew put up the numbers Jaden Mayava put up at UNLV at the University of Colorado, you think he's not going to be in conversations? Like, come on, bro. He's going like, that's nasty. Them were nasty stats, bro.
What was it?
And mind you, he was the backup.
3,000 yards. I think, I mean, it wasn't, it was 17 and 10. So I would hope that he would be a little bit better than 17 and 10, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But first year starting, like, of course, we don't want that 10 on the end. Like, give me less than that. I need single digits, brother.
25.
Okay, that's all I'm asking. Come on. You know what I mean? And with the playmakers he got, think about it, bro. Come on.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, if he literally control, and that's what I'm saying. By bare minimum, if he does that, if he controls the game and hit, like, don't do too much, just do it exactly what he's supposed to do. That's damn near bottom tier of what he can actually do. Like, 100%. That's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I think he will. I think he will.
I agree. So that's our 3 keys. Let us know down in the comments. What did we get wrong? What did we get right? Are there other elements to this season that maybe you think are more important, less important? Any parts that we might have missed in this? Tommy, before we drop off, anything else you want to add?
7 days. I'm going to say it every time. Every day. However many
It'll
days.
It'll be 6 by the time this comes out. So
6. Q for 6 days.
Q for 6 days. Boo Carter days.
Oh my God! Don't get me started, brother.
All right, brother.
I gotta. You know how you got that 10 jersey? I gotta give me a 6 jersey back.
You do. We'll see if we can hit him up. Boo, if you ever see this, we gotta give him a signed jersey.
Let's go, man.
All right, brother. I'll talk to you. Let's leave him with a Sco Buffs.
Let's get it.
Bye-bye.